So now that you've seen some of the sakuras behind me, because I'm not going to go too deep in the park, there's just way too many people. But what I wanted to discuss with you today was how in life it's quintessential to always be moving forward, to always keep going in the path of resistance. Because let's face it, there's lots of resistance, adversity, challenges, hardships in life. Life is competition. It's competing for the resources on the earth, competing for a partner, competing for a job, competing for schools, competing academically. It's just a competition. Even my channel is I'm competing to get your attention versus all the other YouTubers. So in this competition, it really is important that you always keep moving forward and you don't quit. What I wanted to talk to you today was something I wish somebody would have told me earlier in life. And it's so simple, but looking back on my own life in retrospect, I start to think, if I would have just kept moving forward. In life, you really have to keep moving forward, propelling yourself, even when you're faced with adversity and challenges and hardships, because there's lots of that in life. There's going to be failure, disappointment, all those things are going to come. But it's up to you to learn how to manage and cope with these difficult times. It's really your strength and character, and this is developed from how you previously engaged with problems and how you've overcome them or faced the obstacles. And a lot of times it's like let me just a small example. Most of us ran as children in a race at some point, maybe in your early years, maybe you don't run anymore, but you once ran, like maybe in grade 1 they lined you up to find out who was the fastest, right? And there's those people that are naturally fast, and then there's those people that aren't. But what's the difference in those people is some of those people that are not naturally fast, they try harder, right? Because they want to achieve the same thing that somebody else might be naturally blessed with. And then there's other people who just they run a little bit and they just give up and they just stop. There's different levels, different kids. Some will keep going. It's like some kids will finish a race, some kids won't, and they'll just say, oh, I was too tired, they'll have a lot of excuses. And this is kind of like what adults do when you grow up too. You might not be the successful person that you were expecting yourself to be, but the thing is, you always have to keep moving forward in life. You can't stop. If there's something that you really desire and you're not there yet, like for me, it's making this channel monetized so that this can be my full-time job versus my real full-time job, because I like telling stories, interacting with people. I like dancing, I love basketball, I love being out in nature, I love meditation, I love affirmations. I like to do things that make me feel good, make me feel happy. I think that's the only way anyone should live. Why even bother doing things that don't make you happy, that make you miserable? Why even have a job that is you don't want to go in, you don't want to be there? Why work with people? I used to say when I was younger this funny phrase that never reuse, recycle people Because when you have bad experiences with a certain person or people in life, that's like life's way of telling you, hey, you shouldn't be with these people or this person. If you keep going back to bad experiences, bad things, then you will end up being miserable and sad, right? So I've made up that idea in my head that you don't recycle people, because like a lot of times from what I've experienced is you give second chances, and then what you've just done is set yourself up for disappointment. Because I'm not going to say that people can't change, right? But change isn't an immediate thing. Change takes time, takes years. Just like for me, when I was younger, I would have never been in front of this camera talking to you. Hell no. I was way too shy to be doing something like this. But now, as I'm not shy any longer, and I'm more of a people person, I'm able to do this without any anxiety. But yeah, when I was younger, I wouldn't have been able to. Here's a real hill I'm gonna go up. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see. This is steep. Let's see. Maybe. Yep. So I got it. With the camera. So yeah, I just think it's important and quintessential that you must keep moving forward, taking steps forward towards your dreams. It's not even your dreams, it's more like your goals. Whatever path you're setting, keep pushing on it. Because the minute you stop, for instance, myself, when I was young, the first thing I wanted to become was actually a lawyer. And when I went to high school, I took law with Mr. Gordon, and he told me that I couldn't become a lawyer. And there was a point where I was just on the precipice of failing that class. But because he told me that I couldn't become a lawyer, I studied really hard on my exams and I ended that class with an A. Well, it was not just the exams. There was like a 20% essay thing, right? And it was an essay and an assignment, and I did it on the Menendez case, the two brothers that murdered their parents, Eric and Lyle Menendez, I think that's what their names were. Anyways, the point of that was that I actually never pursued law. And it was something that I was thinking about doing. And the irony is that now my son, who is 17, is considering becoming a lawyer. And I have never told him about my aspirations of wanting to become a lawyer. But here he is, having the same aspiration as me when I was in high school. And except he's actually more diligent in pursuing this with discipline, and he will become a lawyer because he wants it badder than I did, because I wanted it but I just didn't pursue it. And that's the key thing, is that you have to take steps do things that are going to get you towards what you want to achieve. So, I mean, even if it's little steps, you know, if it's fitness you're wanting, then you have to actually exercise. If you want to be rich, then you're going to have to work. I mean, you have to get a job at some point to make the money or find a way to make some type of income. But I mean, remember, the most important thing is quality, because the quality of your life, the quality of your existence, and like, you know, the one thing I feel blessed with is that, you know, I raised my children, and I'm so proud of them because I push them, and they're actually good people. And I don't mean, you know, with their intelligence or anything like that. I just mean they're kind, caring, loving people. You know, one of my daughter, she actually helped care for my aunt with dementia, who was 88 years old when she passed away. And so did my son, who was a teenager at the time. He also did that. Well, both of my sons. So, I mean, there's like, I could just say one thing. My son, who's thinking about becoming a lawyer, he actually, in his childhood, at must have been 10 years old, he decided that he wanted to visit elderly people in a nursing home where I worked as a nurse, to play his keyboard and talk to them and make them feel happier, because he figured without me even saying anything to him that people felt lonely at that time of the year, and he wanted to be there for them. And he used to actually, when I worked at New Horizons Tower, he used to visit that place, bring his keyboard, I'd help him, and he would play for them and speak with them, and he knew all their names, and he was very personable as a 10-year-old. And everybody in that facility actually probably still remembers him, because he was so he was just so good with people, sociable, charming. He had the finesse with the elderly. He was the elderly seniors whisperer, and a lot of them would just look forward to seeing him. And you know, he saw a few of them pass away, but he was just so I would say he was almost like a prodigy. But I wouldn't say prodigy. I guess he was very mature for his age, basically, because he could understand the importance of connections with people. And that's what makes me happy, is that I know that I've created, like my children are a reflection of my compassion and my passions, and they are good people. I mean, aside from being intelligent, and you know, I could be proud of their academics and that kind of stuff and their achievements, I'm more proud of the fact that they genuinely would help others and are good people. Because that's what you need in this world. We need is more good people, less people that have no compassion. Because that's the other thing. Other than moving forward and keep on moving forward, don't stop, don't give up, is compassion. You need to have compassion. And compassion is vital. It's critical. Because look, everybody grows, cultivates different skills at different times in their life. For instance, you know, when you were 10 years old, you know, you might be doing, you know, you there's a lot of time where you can't think of the world or people as like you don't have the same mindset. I mean, there's a lot of times where when you're a teenager, you're selfish, you just want to buy your outfits. You don't even think about, oh, where's this money? How hard do my parents have to work to get this money? You know, you don't think about the consequences of the expenses or what else they have to pay, what other bills, the cell bill that's, or the Wi-Fi bill or whatever the bill. You don't think about bills. You just think about, I need this, I need that. You know, it's a total different mindset. But if you're compassionate, because everybody grows at different rates, everybody doesn't think about the same things. But if you're compassionate and you care about people, you care about others, then even if you don't understand, you can relate to that individual's circumstance. You know, like, people don't just become homeless. There's a process, right? It's not like, oh, I want to become a homeless person. No, they go through things, right? And everybody's life leads down a different road. So we have to be compassionate and be considerate of others and kind, because everybody, people's comeback, people's setbacks, people's hardship, many people never learned how to become more resilient, how to become stronger. Many people were pushed down so badly in their lives, abused, where they don't know how to get back up. And it's not just an easy, like, motivational speech that's gonna help them, right? It's, you need the practical skills to be successful, to be a good person in this world. These are not skills that are taught in school. These are skills that, you look at people around you and you see, who are the kind people, who are the people who smile, what type of person are you? When someone's in trouble, do you help or do you just walk by? When you see that homeless person ask for money, do you just ignore them? This just shows what type of person you are, because when you neglect what surrounds you, life, or, whatever problems are going on in the world, the wars, when you pretend like this stuff is not affecting you, well, it really is, because everything matters in life. Everything. Everybody matters. Everything matters. There's not one thing that's not interconnected. It's like, when you used to do those ecological spider web of how this tree is connected to this is connected to that. Everything in this world is connected. So, one thing going awry leads to other things going awry. And with people have become so critical of others. I mean, even just my dancing, right? I dance for fun. I never trained as a dancer. I am not a professional dancer at all. I just dance. I learn these dances by myself. Whatever style I dance, it's my style. This is just something I do. I was never trained. My training was much music, watching videos, and that's how we learned to dance in my days, because my family couldn't afford to put me into dance lessons or any lessons for that matter. So everything I learned, like sports wise, basketball, running, that was all just me doing the work. There was no teacher. I was the teacher. I wanted to be good at it, so I wanted to be a good dancer, so I kept at it, right? So all these things that I do and what I talk about, I'm pretty much a self-taught in everything that I've done in my life. Pretty much self-taught on a lot of the things, like dancing. That's something I taught myself. If you want basketball, that's something I just went out there and played other people and got better at, right? This is how I live my life. That's how I live. I watch and I try to do whatever I want to do, I try to do that with others and be successful by like experience. I'm one of those people that has to like basically get beat up in life before I stop. You know, I have to be really beaten before I give up. And, you know, so far I haven't given up. So I guess I like those beatings. But on a real note, I hope you like this video. You find it helpful in some sort of way. It's just my odd thoughts off the top of my head. No script. But like I said, the two most important things in life is keep moving forward and be compassionate, considerate to others. Kindness, love, that's the positive, that's the right approach. I mean, you know, we don't need any more hate, we don't need any more, but we also don't need people to be so, like everything's offends people and they're so sensitive. But if you're so sensitive, then why aren't you changing the world, right? If you're really that sensitive, because there's major things that need changing in this world. And you know, if you're that sensitive, then make those changes happen, because my generation hasn't. So I'd like to see the next generation do it. I hope you enjoyed this. Good vibes.